the ANC betrayed our struggle for total liberation as Africans. What if I told you the struggle, yes, was won, but the people never got free? What if I told you that political liberation came, but economic chains were never broken, and the economic chains are still intact, as it is proven by each and every credible stat that African majority are still languishing in abject poverty 32 years after the 1994 breakthrough. Today we are asking a very uncomfortable question. Did the ANC betray the struggle for total liberation of Africans? Stay with me, because this is not just history. This is our reality as Africans. Welcome back to IZWI LABANSUNDU, the voice for Africans, the voice of the people. If you care about the truth, accountability, and the future of South Africa, then this is the place to be. Today's topic is sensitive, emotional, and deeply important amongst us as Africans. Because for decades, the African National Congress was not just a political party. It was a symbol of hope, resistance, and ultimate freedom. That's what the ANC was to many people. The ANC was a vehicle in the hands of the people to achieve their liberation. But fast forward to today, many South Africans are asking, was that promise fulfilled, or was it compromised? What was the struggle really about? Let us go back to the foundation. The struggle against apartheid was never just about voting rights. No. Whoever tells you that is lying and misleading you by reducing the struggle that African people waged for centuries against colonialism. If they want to reduce it to just mere voting, then they are distorting our history, and it's a sellout proposition. It was not just about removing a white minority rule. It was about total liberation. And what does that mean? Political freedom. 2, economic control. 3, land ownership. Right? 4, dignity and equality. The vision was clear. Africans must control the wealth of their country. The land, the mines, the banks, the economy as a whole. Not just participate as laborers, but own the economy. Because without economic power, political power is hollow. Victory or compromise. 1994 was a historic moment. The first democratic elections, a new constitution, a new dawn. But behind the celebrations, critical decisions were being made. Deals were struck behind closed doors, behind our backs as Africans. And today we are left to deal with the consequences of those deals that were made behind our backs. Compromises were agreed upon. Compromises that have enriched only a few black elites at the expense of the black majority. The black majority that stood up against the apartheid and colonialism. South Africa avoided a civil war, but at what cost? The economic structure of apartheid remained largely intact. Big corporations stayed in the same hands. Land ownership patterns barely changed. The wealth gap still deeply racial. So the question becomes, did the ANC win political power but surrendered economic control? Because true liberation means dismantling inequality, not managing inequality. The economic reality today. Let us look at the current situation. Massive unemployment, widening inequality, persistent poverty in black communities. In this country, poverty has a face and has a face of an African. Wealth and richness has a face and the face of a European settler. South Africa remains one of the most unequal societies in the world. And the majority of the wealth is still concentrated in a small minority. Black economic empowerment policies were introduced, but many argue they benefited a connected elite rather than the masses. Tender systems created billionaires, but did they create sustainable opportunities? Absolutely no. Townships still struggle. Rural areas remain underdeveloped. Young people feel locked out of the economy. So again, where is the liberation? The corruption and betrayal. Now we get to the most painful part. Corruption, state capture, mismanagement. These are not just buzzwords, they are realities that have affected millions. Money meant for development disappeared. Public institutions weakened. Service delivery collapsed in many areas. And when leaders prioritize personal wealth over public good, that's when people begin to feel betrayed, because the struggle was not about replacing one elite with another. It was about uplifting the masses. Was it betrayal or failure? Now let us be fair. Was this a deliberate betrayal or a failure of leadership? Some argue that the ANC faced impossible pressures, global economic systems, internal divisions, the need for stability. Others argue that leadership simply lost its moral compass, that the values of the struggle were abandoned for comfort and power. The truth likely lies and sits somewhere in between. But for ordinary South Africans, the distinction does not matter, because the outcome is the same. So in conclusion, here's the big question. Where do we go from here? Blaming the past won't fix the future, but understanding it might. South Africa still has potential, still has resources, still has people willing to fight for real change. But real liberation requires accountability, ethical leadership, economic transformation that benefits all. Because freedom is not just about voting every 5 years. It's about dignity in daily life. Let me know what you think. Did the ANC betray the struggle, or did they simply fall short under pressure? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, join, and share. This is more than content. This is conversation. Until next time, Kamakuma Africa.